Welcome to A&B Horror Movies. I'm Aaron, and I'm very excited to be joined today by Joe Lamb. Joe, welcome.
Thanks for having me on your show, Aaron. Appreciate it.
Uh, yes, I can't wait to chat with you about your new film, The Fetus. But before we get to that, you are a writer, a director, a producer. You are the mastermind behind The Fetus, which stars Bill Moseley, the horror legend, also Lauren LaVera, who is becoming soon to be a horror legend, but also I would say horror royalty at the moment, as well as Julian Curtis and your little creature feature horror comedy movie. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, you're welcome.
You're pregnant.
That can't be right. He always wears a condom.
Oh, shit.
Have you been lying to me?
Whoa, wait a second.
Do you remember when I told you that my body doesn't work the same as everyone else's? By the way, I should tell you a few things about my dad. He's a bit particular.
I was more of a cat person.
Are you gay?
But I think your dad and I see eye to eye.
He doesn't really like anyone.
Oh, hey!
It's time.
Dad! No, Dad!
If we don't feed it, it will start sucking on her blood to survive.
You can't give birth to this thing.
Of course not! I've been freaking out since this morning.
I really thought you would grow up normal. You ain't family. You are the turd in the way.
Your mom really died giving birth to me.
So let's jump right into it. My first question for you is, how did The Fetus come about? What inspired this film? And what was the entire process like from ideation to filming to post-production and now for the release?
The idea came about because I wanted to see something that I don't normally see in a horror movie.
Mhm.
And because a lot of times you have this force of nature, whether it's a ghost or a demon or an alien, and it's coming after the humans. And so there's always this separation, right?
Yes.
Except for a few movies like The Fly, The Thing, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Rosemary's Baby. And so
True.
I wanted to
Basket Case,
harken
maybe.
back to that. Basket Case. Yeah, I wanted to harken back to that and just advance the genre in a way that, if
Mhm.
there was something that was just like, again, that I hadn't seen before, what would it be? And I just imagined, what if something was coming out of a body? And I was like, oh, it's most likely be a woman's body because they can grow humans, right? So,
Of course, makes sense.
and
Yes.
and like, how freaky would that be to deal with that?
Yeah.
At the same time, create a moral dilemma where if this thing, even though it's coming out attacking people, it's
Mhm.
essentially it's like evil, it's murdering people. Well, what if there's a chance with the right set of parents that it could actually be turned around and be good?
Mhm.
And not only that, I looked at the backdrop of what was going on in the US with the pro-choice, pro-life debate, and how we're so
Mhm.
torn over this right now. And so to put that as a backdrop, it's not a heavy-handed message, but it's because of the situation that the characters are in, it is going to explore that a little bit. So yeah, I just wanted something that was refreshing, I hadn't seen before, and also with deep, meaningful
Yep.
scenarios and morality as well.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, there are a lot of themes that are covered here, even if it's not directly, sort of indirectly, I would say. But even with that, it is still a very fun movie, and like you said, something that's coming out of someone else, and then also going back in, which is also perhaps just as horrific. Speaking of which, can you say a little bit about the effects? So we have the fetus. Let's start with that. This almost cute, horrific little fetus monster. What was it like designing that and also, I guess, bringing it to life in the movie?
Well, we have a special effects makeup artist who's
Mhm.
won 2 awards. That's the equivalent of the Oscars in Colombia for special effects makeup.
Oh, amazing.
And
Okay.
so he designed all the fetus creatures because he read the script, and I just told him like, what do you envision? Because I tend to be very collaborative. I like
Mhm.
to see what people come up with as opposed to me telling them. Because
Yes.
if that's their world, like let them play in it. Let them make their contribution. And
Mhm.
so he's the one that designed all this stuff, and I was like, this stuff looks great, and it was done in a way where it's not too alien or foreign. Because sometimes when I watch movies with creatures or TV shows, I mean, it's so far off that I'm like, I'm just gonna reject it in terms of like, there's no chance, like I'm gonna get near that thing,
Yep.
that I'm gonna consider, like doing anything good with it. I'm just gonna try to destroy this thing. So the
Yes.
fetus creature, the various stages had to be something where, they had to consider, the characters had to consider keeping it, so it was like it's a half human, half demonic fetus. And so I thought it was just the great marriage of the two worlds and not going too far off in one direction or the other.
Yeah. Oh, that's a perfect way to describe it. So we have the little fetus monster, and it does sort of morph into something else. I don't want to give anything away, but it does start to look more like a human. And there's also sort of, I guess, the appendage, maybe. There's like an extension of this little fetus monster that has some vampiric elements to it. And we first see that there's a gas station scene, which is one of my favorite moments in the movie, when we first see that extension fly across the room and attack someone. I guess I can say that without giving anything away. What was it like filming that and bringing that aspect of it to life? Because it was done so well. I loved it.
It's very difficult.
Okay. In what way? Like having it
Well,
fly across the room?
it's because, we were honestly, we were supposed to have like 2.5 hours to film that scene. It got cut down to 45 minutes to film it.
Oh,
And so I
wow.
had like this whole set of storyboards. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna bring it down to here, give it the essentials that it was needed and to make it work. And
Yep.
so luckily it still worked. And we had to go and do, a separate shot to where, like you said, it's, when it's flying,
Mhm.
later on at a green screen studio, to complete it.
Oh,
Otherwise,
okay.
it's just
Okay.
not like without that little, cherry on top, it wasn't as exciting. And
Mhm.
so,
Mhm.
yeah, it's always tough. Filming any scene is
It's
tough.
tough.
Like no matter what. I mean, there's different degrees, yes, but when you're dealing with
Mhm.
mechatronics, puppeteering, blood, the actors, I mean, that's just you're adding all these other elements to mix together, and they all have to come together. Besides the camera, lighting, sound, those are a
Oh,
given.
yeah,
But
sure.
when you're throwing in like the puppets and puppeteers, like with the actors, right? Everyone's coordinating, and we have such a condensed time to do it. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the pressure is on.
So what was it like working with it? Because there is some puppetry aspects to your film. What was that like? And were there some challenges that you faced that you didn't expect?
Some of it was really fun though. Like the
Okay, good.
time you see the first time
Awesome.
you see the
Yeah.
fetus strand or cord coming out, like I
Hmm.
had a blast. Once we got that, I mean I think that was like literally like day one or day two that we filmed it.
It looks so good. Yeah.
And I was just like,
Cool.
oh yeah, the fact that we could do it practically with the blood dripping and all that stuff, I was like, oh man, like okay,
Hmm.
this can be something, because honestly, Aaron, like writing a movie like this, something coming out of a woman, and then it's just like changing sizes and all the other stuff that we're not even spoiling, that most people don't even know about
Hmm.
yet. But when people see it,
Hmm.
they're like, "Oh my God, I didn't know the movie was going to take this turn." Writing a story like this, it's like going into the unknown. I did not know if this was going to work on an audience. Like I really did, because I'd never done horror before. I'd never done practical effects like this. I've never done visual effects like this to this level. There are visual effects in it, but a lot of it is hidden, and added to the practical effects or the set design. So a lot of people don't even realize that we did a green screen shoot. They just buy into like
Oh,
on screen, which is pretty cool. So
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
I hope that answers your question. But
I I think so, and that was my reaction too. I didn't even in retrospect, I didn't even notice the green screen elements. So, congratulations with that. You you mentioned that, or I know that you've been shopping this around at festivals and you've screened it with some live audiences so far. What has that experience been like, and how have the audiences reacted to your film?
honestly, we did not go to any festivals,
Oh, you
and
haven't? Okay, I misunderstood then.
yeah, we didn't go, and it's because like my last short film, we took home 56 awards at festivals around the world, and that was to me,
Congrats.
besides that, and just sitting with an audience and seeing their reaction and just being locked into the story for 15 minutes, that told
Yep,
me that yeah, I'm ready to do a feature now. Um,
excellent.
Going to festivals with the feature film, knowing that we had Bill and Lauren, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel
Hmm.
right because I knew that we would, if we were winning festivals, we would be taking away from someone else who really
Oh,
needs
that
the
makes sense.
recognition because
Okay.
we have the names to help sell this movie. We don't
Mhm.
need the festivals to help sell it. That's why we didn't do any
You didn't
festivals.
do, okay, so maybe
Not,
not festivals, but I know you've had screenings, right? So
yes, we did
what have the
screening.
screenings been like with the live audiences? That's what I was trying to
Oh yeah,
get
we
to.
did one during Days of the Dead, MegaCon in
Mhm.
Orlando. There was Las Vegas. We did a Los Angeles premiere. Every single screening, people have just been, they were laughing, they're having a good time,
Yeah, yeah.
scared, they're getting grossed out. We have like on camera
Oh,
audience
sure.
reactions as well. And then like towards the climax,
Cool.
all the laughing stops and people
Mhm.
are just dialed in and just they're ramped up towards the climax. And I could just
Yes,
feel it. I could just feel wherever like people aren't moving. And that's exactly the experience I wanted to give. Because when I watch certain movies that I love, that's what I want. Like when I'm watching The Thing,
Mhm.
I'm just like, I'm not moving. I'm just still, and I'm just like frozen in a sense.
For sure.
You know, I'm on this
Yes.
roller coaster ride, and that's what I wanted to give to an audience. So,
Yeah, and I think you accomplished that because I wouldn't say this is necessarily a horror comedy but there are comedic elements in the first two acts, and then once you get up to into the final act, it sort of that comedy kind of falls away and it becomes a little more serious. But speaking of the comedic elements, I have to ask, there are parts in the film that I found hysterical. So I love the conversation with Bill and Julian about dogs and cats. I just found the sort of deadpan back and forth that they had there was just incredible. Was it as fun filming those scenes as it was watching them? I guess I would say. What was it like on the set? Where was everyone watching this unfold, laughing as they were acting?
I'm not, I'm not sure the crew was laughing at that scene in particular,
Okay,
uh,
okay. It's just one
because
thing that stuck out. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
mean, internally, I am because Julian
Yes.
Curtis, he was giving all these dialogue changes. Like every take we were doing, he was doing something different, and I loved it. I was like, oh, because there was room for so much improvisation, and Bill's just sitting there,
Oh,
like
okay.
not saying anything, right? So internally,
Mm,
I'm laughing. I'm and then I go to the editing room, and I'm like, oh, what is the best? There's so much good stuff here. Oh, so but I have to just figure out what is the core message I'm trying to deliver, which is the
mhm.
uncomfortableness, right? When you're meeting someone's father, your love interest's father, and he's not, too warm and welcoming to you, and you kind of want to get out of there, and it's,
Oh,
you're
for
asking
sure.
these questions that are just like he's trying to get somewhere with him, but it's not working, and he starts to cross the line
Yes.
too. But
Of course. Yeah.
yeah, I think Julian Curtis, he just knew what to do with the character for these kind of situations. That's why I hired him because he just got the material. You know.
Yeah.
But
Good
actually,
choice there.
Dan,
He was fantastic. Go ahead.
I thought you were going to bring up something that gets the most laughs in the movie, but you didn't bring it up. So I thought you
Oh
would bring that.
gosh. Oh, well, now you have to tell me. What is it? Or no?
I mean,
I don't know.
I can't spoil it, but
Oh, okay, you don't want to spoil anything. Okay.
it involves the portal. I'll just say that.
Oh, Yes, I know exactly what you're referring
Yeah.
to. The
I thought you would,
in a
that gets the
in a
most laughs.
the inappropriate portal
Yeah,
scene. Is that it?
the
Okay, okay.
yeah, that
And before I forget, man, thank you for the condoms that
Oh,
you
you're
sent to
welcome.
feed his condoms. And I like that you put a note right on the back. You wrote, "Hope you like it, Joe," with a smiley face. So very cool. I had to get these out for this video. Um,
Oh,
anyway, so back to I do have a few other questions. What was it like, or what was the casting process like? How did you get Bill and Lauren and Julian to be involved with your film, or did you know these are the actors I want in my movie?
Bill was the top three choice. And so
Makes
we
sense. Yep.
made an offer to his manager,
Mhm.
and along with the script, he told me that in 3 hours, he he said yes to it. And I
Cool.
was like, oh, okay, great. And so
Congrats. That's
I
awesome.
wanted
Mhm.
I wanted to find someone who, who has more history in terms of, a veteran actor, right? 40 years in the business, over 130 films in horror and other genres. And
Mhm.
as a result, that would lead the way to, having already an established audience and also attract the younger cast. If we were to go for the younger cast members first, they have they tend to have less of a built-in audience unless they started from, you know, teenage or adolescence acting.
Mhm.
And so that was the approach. So the second person was Lauren LaVera, and we went through 7,500 actresses to find her. And
Wow. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
we posted on Actors Access. It gets blasted to other sites as well. And when her self-tape audition came in, it was just like leaps and bounds over everybody else. The other
Oh,
actresses were
that's so
great,
cool.
but I could tell that with her self-tape audition, she was the character already. There was no ramping up to it. There was no figuring out who this character was. It was the the raw emotions just pouring through in the scene that I asked her to perform.
Yes.
And that was it. It was just she was Alessa. And then
Yeah.
for Julian Curtis, he was the third casting choice, and he came. It was like 3,500 actors that we went through for him, and
Oh
some of
my
the other
gosh.
actors were really good because we were like had a top 10, top five, and then down to top three. But
Okay.
not everybody got the humor in it. Some of them were playing it very seriously, and
Mhm.
that could have worked. That would have been a certain type of movie. But to me, the ridiculousness of what happens in the story needed someone who could bring humor to the situation. And so,
Yes.
and because he just got it, you know, um, I decided to hire him.
And he did it so well. I think the stars aligned with the cast there. It seems to have that everything came together the way it was supposed to, and that's amazing. And again, congratulations. I have sort of a general question for you, and that is, what were some of the unexpected challenges with making your film? And what would you say on the flip side was the most rewarding aspect of making The Fetus?
Unexpected challenges were I should not have drank coffee during the shoot because with
Oh my
coffee,
gosh.
it gives me a like a
Cheers to
paralytic,
coffee, though. Yeah.
yeah, it gives me a paralytic effect. And
Mm.
so my muscles just like, oh, they're like, I was like, um, they don't work as well.
Oh
And
gosh.
when I do that, and sometimes I get bedridden for like 3 days straight, like half the day I'm bedridden because of coffee. But because I drank coffee, I just smelled it. All the cast and crew were drinking it. I was like, oh, so I drank it. So I had to keep it up. But as a
Oh,
result,
of
like I had
course.
trouble sleeping, I had trouble just functioning during the day. So I had to rely on the cast and crew, you know, and I'm just guiding them and setting the stage. And, then I'm drinking other things like, Celsius, just to keep myself going for 3 weeks in Pennsylvania. So that was rough.
Wow.
My
Mm.
next movie, like it's gonna have to be a bigger budget. It has to be like at least like around 3 to 5 million for what I want to do next. Um, but I would honestly, I would need to have an assistant or somebody prevent me from drinking any coffee because of that. It's just I was not as sharp as I could have been. Um,
Oh,
and
well, you'd never know. Maybe get a bunch of,
uh,
some water, bottles of
yeah,
water
yeah.
on
I mean,
hand.
I got through it. And then the other thing was, I knew going into it
Mhm.
that we had already like cast the main actors. We had set the date for filming, which was in August of 2022. And a part of me was like, the ending is not right. I'm like, there's something, not quite right here. And I had the inclination of expanding it further, but
Okay.
because we are on a tight deadline, we had already raised the funds for it. We were ready to go. That I just said, well, let's just film this first, then we'll do test screenings. And if this works on its own, then great, we'll release the movie. But if
Mhm.
it doesn't, then I'll make the hard decision to go raise more financing. Um, and then it was also because it was so like wild, that extra ending that I kind of like hinted at, that I was like, I
Yes.
was scared to do it because we had so many other practical effects, visual effects stuff to do in the movie
Mhm.
that it was
Mhm.
just we would have been lost and something would have broke along the way because it would have been too much
Okay.
stuff going on. But after like 4 test screenings, I realized people were loved it so much, but it just suddenly abruptly ends that
Mhm.
I made the decision to raise more money and go back to Pennsylvania to film an extended ending 2 years later.
Oh my God. So is that the ending we have now in the final
Yes.
product? So do you
Yes.
think all of those test screenings really paid off then and
Yes.
adding the ending?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
in the end, this was actually the right way to do it because
Mm.
because I was able to cut my teeth on doing all these practicals and visual effects for, a year and a half, and then figuring out what was missing, what needed to be plugged in even for a green screen shoot, because I edited the whole movie and then we had to do the
Right.
green screen shoot a year later. And so I was able to figure out everything that was needed. We had a tight shoot for the 2-day green screen shoot, got it all in there, made it work. And then we were like, okay, now let's go and do the ending. So that's why this movie has actually taken 4 years, 1 year of writing, and then, 3 years of, 2 years of shooting, and then like, one more year of like
Oh wow.
post. Yeah.
It's taken a lot of your time then. It's your
But yeah,
baby. I had to say it, right?
yeah. Exactly.
Oh, well, congratulations again. I can't say it enough. And for the horror fans watching, I love the practical effects. I don't know if I really have a question here, but I love the practical effects. There are severed heads, there are arms cut off, there's blood splatter, there's creature features, there's creatures in it. So I guess you could say it's a creature feature. It's a must see, and I'm a fan. So there you go. Um, let's see. So before we do, I don't want to keep you too long. Before we do the closing, though, I do have some this or that questions for you, which are
Okay.
sometimes fun. And there's no right or wrong answer. You just pick one or the other. Okay? No pressure. Here we go. Um, the Brood or Rosemary's Baby?
Rosemary's Baby.
Classic. It was hard to pair. I was like, what could I pair with Rosemary's Baby? But anyway, I went with The Brood. Creature feature or Aliens Attack?
Ooh.
Tough
Ooh. Oh
one.
my God. I want to say both, but if I
Okay,
had
okay, you could say both. But if
if
you
I
had to choose,
if I had to choose, oh, creature feature.
okay, fair enough. Let's see, House of the Devil or Devil's Due. Hopefully, you've seen those two films.
I've not seen those two films.
Okay, then we'll move on. Chucky or Annabelle?
Oh, wow, God. Oh, oh. I'm gonna go with the OG, Chucky.
Chucky, yes, I'd probably do that too. Children of the Corn or Pet Cemetery?
Oh,
You see, I'm going to
oh,
some killer kids here. Killer
oh,
dolls, killer
man.
kids.
Oh, just cats. Oh, Pet Cemetery. Yeah.
I'd probably pick that too. Let's see. I do have some non-movie questions. Would you prefer to go on a bike ride or an outdoor run?
Run.
Good choice. This is a movie, Village of the Damned, 1960, or Village of the Damned, 1995, the remake with Kirstie Alley and
Yeah, 1995.
Christopher Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. Pizza or cheeseburgers?
Oh, oh. See, it depends on the kind of pizza. There's all sorts
That's
of varieties.
true.
Then
That's
cheeseburger is
true.
like one, then I would say
Yes.
cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. Okay. Excellent. Hopefully you've seen these two movies, The Children from 1980 or The Children from 2008.
I have not, never even heard of it.
Oh, they're so
Never heard of
good.
it. I'll have to check
So
it out.
yeah, the one from 1980, the same uh, artist who did the score for the first Friday the 13th did The Children.
Mm.
And so when you watch it, you can kind of feel the Friday the 13th
Mm.
vibes. And The Children from 2008 is probably one of the best Killer Kids movies out there.
Mm.
And it's set around Christmas if you like Christmas horror movies. Anyway, moving on. Three more. Potato chips or chocolate?
Oh, uh,
This
chocolate.
depends on the
Chocolate.
mood, right?
When it's in a bar, yeah, I can't drink chocolate, but when it's in the,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Basket case or It's Alive?
it's alive.
Both are good though. But yes, let's see. Jaws or Halloween 1978? The last one.
What? You can't do that. They're both so.
We get this. Yeah, we get.
Oh
So
my
I've got to
God.
say, my
Jaws?
co-host Jaws is his movie and Halloween's mine. So we always ask that.
You're saying, oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, I have to go Jaws. I have to,
Of
though.
course. Yeah, I think it's a better film. Um, well, Joe, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on. Congratulations again on your film, The Fetus. A couple closing questions. How can folks find you on social media, and how can they check out your film?
If people want to follow me, my handle is It's Joe Lamb for Instagram, like ITS Joe Lamb.
Yes.
I respond to messages. And
Yep.
for The Fetus, it's thefetusmovie.com. You can go to the website. There's a bunch of free bonus gifts for buying a ticket or digital. You could do a digital screener as well. Just to follow us, it would be The Fetus Film. So hashtag or at The Fetus Film on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. It's all the same, The Fetus Film.
Awesome. Awesome. And will it be streaming soon? And do you know if we'll get a physical release, or is it too soon to say?
I am
Yes,
working
yes
on
to
a lot
both.
of the
Go
merch.
ahead.
A lot of the
Okay.
merch, book, the photo book, and then eventually the DVD. But we have to finish the documentary first. We have a documentary. We filmed over 12 cast and crew members, and we're going to be putting that
cool.
together as part of the DVD. And for not streaming yet, we're going to theatrical in select cities, and then we have we're going to be selling on our website, and then we'll go to the other countries, and then streaming. So there's going to be a period where you can only get it after the theaters. You can only get it on our website, thefetusfilm.com or thefetusmovie.com. And for everyone who buys, we actually will send you a postcard with a still image from the movie. So you get a little keepsake for purchasing
Oh,
the
that's
movie.
awesome. That's awesome. And all the links and social media handles you just mentioned, I'll put in the video and in the description. So check out the description for our video if you want to learn more about watching The Fetus. So let's see. If you are watching, like and subscribe because it helps our channel. And lastly, Joe, thanks again for chatting with me today. This has been fantastic.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aaron. And I have to say, I appreciate what you do because you are helping to get the word out on independent films because we don't have the big marketing budgets, so for what you and then all the other influencers and podcasters do, I mean, it's the world to us because we could use the support. So I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you for taking the time to chat with me. It means the world. So awesome. All right. Well, thank you. Bye, everyone.